Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another cosplay tutorial for you, and this time it is for 4 new breastplate patterns, and these are specifically size XL for men. Yee! And there is a pattern for each of these that are available individually on my website, as well as if you'd like to save a little bit of monies, I have this as a bundle where you can get all 4 in one. But before we begin, remember to like the video, as well as don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of my cosplay tutorials, or just be a part of our awesome cosplay community here. Now, let's begin. And here's everything that you will need for making these breastplates, which include 4mm HD foam, Sharpies, a cutting mat, heat gun, X-Acto knife, contact cement glue, and of course, your safety gear of a respirator. And I'll do a link to all of these in the description. Now for our first one, which is gonna be the easiest out of this set, and that is pattern number 13. And the first step you're going to want to do is grab your 4mm foam, and we're going to actually heat treat it first using a heat gun. This is going to make it so you don't have to do it later and you don't have to worry about your seams coming apart once it's all glued. Then grab each of those patterns and trace it onto the 4mm foam, as well as don't forget to label it, and then we're going to cut it out using an X-Acto knife or a box cutter, and make sure to have your cutting mat underneath so you don't cut your table. And here's what all of the parts should look like once cut out. Then to the back side of part A, there should be 3 boxes indicated where you should apply your contact cement glue. We're going to apply it, let it dry, as well as apply our contact cement glue to the spots indicated on the straps. Let those dry, and then we can start assembling. Reminder, with all contact cement glue, always wear a respirator because it is very toxic and you do not want to breathe it. And the first part we're going to want to attach is the 2 straps together. And this is going to be labeled part 3, which is going to attach to part 3. And then we're going to attach that strap, which is B, attached to A, and this is going to be indicated with the number 2. And the funner part will be attaching number 4 together, which will be the other side of the strap to the top part of A. Now there is going to be one spot we have not attached yet, and you can attach it, but the problem is because this is going to be more of a breastplate that goes over a shoulder, you do want to be able to get in and out of this. So by connecting it, you most likely are not going to be able to squeeze yourself through that, because I could not. So for this, we're actually going to be using Velcro, and this was not on our list of tools and materials because this is optional, but I will have a link to this in the description. And I trace where the Velcro is going to sit on the strap, as well as to our main front piece of A, and apply it to the back of your non-adhesive backing Velcro to the male and the female part. Let the glue fully dry, and then we're going to attach it to the foam pieces. And this way we'll make it so you can easily get in and out of this breastplate. And that will complete our first pattern, number 13. Now on to our next pattern, which is going to be number 14. And just like before, you're going to want to make sure that your 4mm HD foam is heat treated first with a heat gun. Then go ahead and trace each of the patterns onto your foam. Again, don't forget to label all of the parts. And then we're going to cut it out using a box cutter or an X-Acto knife. And here's what it should look like once they're all cut out. These are parts A through H. Then for our glue, and we're going to be applying glue to all of the labeled edges, as well as the indicated rectangular parts that we need to apply glue for our straps. Again, you will wait for the glue to fully dry, and then we can start assembling. And we're going to start by attaching parts B to itself, which is going to be our back piece, starting from the center and working our way up to the top, and doing the same for part G. This will make it one solid piece. Then we're going to move to our front 2 pieces, connecting down the center of D and E. I always recommend using the table starting on one side and slowly pushing the edges together, so that way your seams will be perfectly flush. Then we're going to connect the side pieces to the back pieces, which is going to be parts B to C and F to G. And then connecting those pieces to our now front piece. So starting with E to F, as well as C to D. last two parts to connect are going to be our shoulder strappings, and these are going to attach to the underside of the foam. And this is parts A, which is going to connect to B, as well as A connecting to the front part, which is going to be D. And repeating this for the other side for the strap H, which is going to connect to G and E. And this will complete pattern number 14. The next pattern we're going to talk about is number 15. And just like the other two, we're going to heat treat our foam, and we're going to lay all of the pattern pieces onto our 4mm HD foam, trace it, don't forget to label it, and then we can cut out each of the pieces. And in the end, it should look like this, which should be letters A through F. Then back to gluing, reminder that respirator, and we're going to apply our contact cement glue to all of the labeled edges. Again, wait for the glue to fully dry, and then we can start assembling. And I start off by attaching B to C, starting at the bottom and using the table, working my way towards the top so I can make sure all of my seams perfectly align and meet flush. And repeating this for the other side of D attaching to E. Then we're gonna grab those two back pieces, which are gonna be F and A, and we're actually gonna be attaching them to themselves first. So this will be the little triangle piece that's cut out, starting from the bottom, working our way up to close it. And then continuing right along by connecting our two front pieces together, which is C to D. And then connecting those pieces to our back pieces. And this will be E to F, as well as A to B. And the last steps is connecting the shoulder sections. And this will be connecting D to F, as well as for the other part, which is A to C. And that will complete this pattern of number 15. And the last pattern of the set is number 16, and this one will require the most foam, as well as it will be a little bit more tricky than the others, but I'm sure you'll be able to do it just fine. And just like all of the other patterns that we did for this entire bundle, you will heat treat that foam first with your heat gun, ensuring all of the foam and the pores are closed, and you'll get the best application for doing painting and whatnot. And also your seams won't come apart later, so do that. Then you're going to take all of your pattern parts and you're going to trace them onto your 4mm HD foam. Again, don't forget to label, because that's the most important part for this, so that way you know which part attaches to what. Then we're going to cut out each of the pieces with either an X-Acto knife or a box cutter. And congratulations, here's what all of the parts should look like once they are cut out. And for this one, it should be parts A through I. Then on to gluing! Reminder, safety first, wear that respirator, and we're gonna apply our contact cement glue to all of the labeled edges. Again, wait for it to dry, and then we can start assembling all of the pieces together. And for this one, I started with the front pieces, which is gonna be part E and F, starting from the top, working my way down. You may have to flip the foam back and forth to kind of make sure that you can get that perfectly attached center part, but once that's done, we can move on to the next step, which is attaching our back parts. And that's gonna be parts B to C. And on the other side is gonna be H to I. Then for our side pieces, we're gonna grab G and it's going to attach to H. And repeating for the other side of attaching C and D. And at this point, you should have 3 sectioned pieces. And we're gonna move on to attaching that now to the front. And the first part is D to E. Reminder, it's okay to move the foam back and forth and turn it upside down to make sure it attaches firmly. And we're gonna repeat this for the other side of attaching F to G. Then for the the shoulders, and this one is going to be a little bit different from the others as you're connecting both the HI segment to the front part of F. And then we're going to repeat this for the opposite side, which is going to be the BC pieces that are connected to the top part of E. And the last part is connecting the collar, and this is going to be parts A. Now, when I filmed this, I was making my prototype, and since then I have altered the pattern, and it should work out perfectly for you, but I ended up making my collar too long, so I trimmed it and made the adjustments to the pattern, so it should work perfectly. But for this, I started off by doing a little tack in the center in the front, and then you do your tacks on either ends and slowly work them back and forth, connecting your edges together, and this should complete the last pattern of this, which will be pattern number 16. And that, guys, is how to make all 4 of these male breastplates from foam. And I hope you found this video helpful for your own creation, and if so, let me know in the comments what you're gonna use them for, or maybe what other patterns I should make to help you with your next cosplay build. A big thank you to all of my company sponsors here, as well as all of my members, specifically those legendary members, and I will see you for our next tutorial, just as long as you subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. And I much appreciate it, and I'll see you for our next one. Much love, guys.